Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Alrighty, let me get over here. Uncle Al stepped out for a minute. Okay, so here we go. How's everybody doing today? Let me go through a roll call. We got a lot in here already.
Oh yeah.
So, first comment was by Uncle Al. We had Josh Connor in here.
Yep.
T.E.O.T.W.A.W.K.I is off grid and everyday living, and he has dropped his first name off just for Maccabeus. So, if you haven't checked him out, he's got some good stuff. We got Courtney at Wide Family Farm, Mary Beth Smith, Cecilia Jansen, Prairie Rider, aka Queen of the North. That's Lori. And down here, scroll on down.
Yep.
Everybody
We
keep
have
talking. Howie, food, forest, permaculture. He had a great foraging video today, foraging wild apples up there.
Yep.
All right. Dutch at Sand Hollow Homestead. Michael 58.
And enriched refugee too.
Yep. Enriched Refugee. Matthew Birch. Hey, Matthew. And Caitlin Strain. Christy Betts. All right. And people are rolling in here. Coming over from Stringfield Ridge Homestead. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Stringfield Ridge Homestead, check them out. Teresa and Lee are great. They got some great videos and stuff. Their live stream is right before this, the hour before this. So really great group of people there. All righty. And before them, the hour before Stringfield Ridge is Mimsy's Garden, another great channel. And they were talking a lot about gardening tonight on Stringfield Ridge. Excuse me. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. All righty. So tonight's topic, the top 5 garden items that you want to salvage first in T.E.O.T.W.A.W.K.I. And if you're not sure what T.E.O.T.W.A.W.K.I is, the end of the world as we know it. This is not just for, oops, we just had a major event thing and it's going to be, everything's going to be cleared up in a year. No, this is a decade or so before Law and Order comes back.
Right. We're talking 1870 stuff.
Yeah. Ryder Dust is in the house now. And so let me go over here on the other page and see if I can, there we go, bring up. And so top 5 items. So my list originally, this is my first list I did a couple weeks ago. No, Cecilia, I did not see your post on Facebook. I have not been in Facebook for, about 8 hours today since I was in there. So my first list that I came up with, seeds, number 1. Okay, I want to salvage seeds. All the seeds I can get. Number 2, a rototiller.
I just ate. I don't want to throw
up. Irrigation supplies. And a compact garden tractor. Now, that was my first list, guys. I've thrown 4 of those items away.
Okay.
Because someone pointed out something out to me about number 2, the rototiller. Well, if it is really the end of the world as we know it, in 6 months, they're saying, even if you have stored gas and stuff, it's all going to be gone. How are you going to run your rototiller? Got me thinking. Let's see what we got here. Brastard 7.62, insecticide and fertilizer. Yep, good stuff to think about. So my next list of 5 items for me, don't laugh, folks. Think about this. Seeds. And the next thing was a Haas wheeled garden tools, and I will show you that in a second. Draft horses, draft horse harness gear, draft horse plows, cultivators, and seeds. All right. Before you all start laughing at me, hey, Michelle P. Let's take a look. All right. So there's the seeds. Yeah. Any type of seeds. This is just a quick photo, but you want to have bulk seeds, a lot. This is the Haas garden tool. You can take off the little cultivators here and put on the stirrup hose or the plow hoe on it. You can do a lot of things with this. And after you plant your rows of corn, until they're as tall as the hoop here, you can still cultivate down each side of them. Really easy.
We call that a hand plow.
Yeah, they actually, and they have a plow attachment for it. They got a whole bunch of different attachments for it. They even have seed planting attachments for it. So, but this is because this is there's two different types. There's one with the gap in the middle, the hoop to go over plants, and then the other one where you put the stuff in the middle has the bigger plows and stuff, and still has two wheels to keep balance on it. Really good stuff, expensive tools, but yeah. So if I could salvage some of those, yeah, I would. But
it's a very good tool.
Yeah. Good old draft horses, the friendliest horses around. So draft horses. Oh wow, going to need a lot of gear here for the draft harness. It's not a simple harness. You got to have the special collar that goes across the breast so you don't choke them off and crush the windpipe.
Okay, folks. With draft horses, you also have to have two other things. You have to have a barn. You have to have a field, not for growing, for the horses. You have to have a blacksmith shop, and also what everybody missed. What's the horses are wearing? They ain't nylon. Horseshoes, and what else? What are the horses wearing? Does anybody know how to repair tack?
Yeah, you got to have no leather working.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, and there are some people here in town who work leather. So a couple old timers, like a gentleman here, that know how to run these plows, these horses and stuff. And so yeah, so this is an old John Deere. Yeah, a John Deere horse-drawn plow, single bottom plow. Yeah.
Cecilia, only problem with mules, they're great, but they're sterile. You don't get a next generation. With draft horses, you do, or you have to get a donkey and a mule and play lovely music, and they'll have sex, and they'll have more mules.
Actually, it's a donkey and a horse to get a mule.
Yep.
Now, actually, for field work like this, draft horses are a lot better. Hey, Will's here. Draft horses are a lot better than mules. Mules are good for pack animals.
Yep.
But for pulling plows and stuff, you want draft horses, because the draft horses are so big and strong they can just go all day long plowing the field. And my dad used to run the 20 mule team borax thing. He ran that a couple of years back in the day, and he also ran draft horses. He loves draft horses. He said mules are the most stubborn and stupid animals on this earth.
Yep.
Also, they're smart.
They tend to kick you too.
Yeah,
they're smart animals.
Well, they're smart and they're dumb at the same time. He said the way you get a mule's attention, you take a 2x4, you whack him upside the head, then the mule looks at you and he'll do whatever you tell him to do. Otherwise, he's like out in La La Land, and he's not going to listen to you till you get his attention.
Like most teenagers.
Exactly. Yeah.
How you doing, Will?
Yeah.
I can't see. My eyes are messed up.
Oh, not good, Will.
I got an appointment to go have them looked at Monday.
All right. Now,
I haven't been online. I can't see. But I saw your invitation, so I thought I'd come check out everybody.
Yeah. Now, what you see here is a ride-on double row disc setup. And from the looks of it, I'd probably say that's a 10-foot wide one.
Right. Is that a front row disc or a back row?
It has both.
Hmm.
So the one's aimed, one is cantered one direction. The second row is cantered to the opposite direction.
You have
And
to be careful with these things. That's number one leading cause of, farmer died. The horse ran away and ran him over with the cultivator.
Yep. So yeah, this is with something like this is what I would need to do. The 2.5 acres on the east side of the property, and in between the trees on the in the new big orchard. So yeah, this would come in handy. But the thing is, though, if I had this, I'd be going around town to everybody else's big gardens, their 1-acre gardens, doing their stuff and picking up a little extra food from them for the service.
Right. And probably get a little extra land to have the horses.
Extra food for them for the service. Right. Yeah. And so the next point here, this is interesting. Now you look, they took an old style piece of equipment and then took a modern thing in between it, so you have a nice cushioned seat and a little spring suspension on there.
Yeah, and
they'll get beat to death, and they got a 3-team pulling it. But yeah, you just because you got draft horses doesn't mean you have to use all old time stuff. Right, the disc setup I have here, I could adapt very easily to a system like this to pull it. All my 3-point attachments for my tractors. If I could make a little cart like this in the middle here, this red cart, and hook up my 3-point attachments to it, and be able to use them with draft horses. Now, is that the last one? Oh, here's the big one. I couldn't find a really good picture of it. Similar type thing, different. This is on a 2-wheel horse, but this is a
pneumatic.
No, a grain drill. So basically, it goes on. It plants the seeds, and it has a big wide swath and plants the seeds. So that's the type. So when I was talking about,
didn't it disc it first, and then drops the seed in the ground after it's been worked, right?
You do the disking first, and then you come back with that, and that kind of levels and has a spiked roller on the front, and there's a bunch of different ways of doing it. Some of them are all combined, some are each separate things. So, hey, Drop Family Garden.
Hey, Drop Family Garden.
Basically, that's why number 5 is all the stuff the horse pulls, the plows, the cultivator, the entire setup. Go find it and salvage it. But that's what I was thinking. So, for the small dinner garden, yes, I'd use the Haas wheeled garden tools. But for the big field, it's going to be draft horses and all that stuff.
Right. The only thing that probably is number 2, I will probably combine it with number 5. And you're missing one important thing for number 2. Certain hand tools you do by hand. Yeah. If you're a smaller plot, you need the basics: shovel, rake,
right,
axe, and scythe. Because if you're growing grain for bread, I don't think anybody has one of those old-time draft horse. You know what I'm talking about, Gil? Mm-hmm. The 5-blade chopper thing?
Well, actually, yeah. And here's what's funny. You mentioned that. I have a family photo from taken down in Riverside, California, back in the day of the very first animal-drawn combine machine. And it had 15 people on it working on it, besides the 30 horses pulling it. And it was a big thing. It was big, huge, wide, had wagons on it, and they'd fill up a wagon, drop it off. They'd pull the thing, drop that wagon off, fill up the other ones, start dropping wagons off. And once they dropped all the wagons on, I think it was like 5 wagons, they'd bring up 5 more wagons, hook up to it, and keep on going.
Saw your picture on Facebook.
Yeah.
You guys see the picture Lori put on Facebook of a coffee mug that she won on my
cool. I have not been on Facebook yet. So, guys, that was like I said, I started out first with the the seeds, rototiller, garden tools, irrigation supplies, compact tractor. but I was thinking, all right, this is the end of the world as we know it. All right, there's not going to be any gas in a few months. The water system may be shut down, so I may be on they just may leave the irrigation ditches open, running year round, so people can pull water. I got to get the well up and going. So for the irrigation stuff is going to be pumps and big sprayers, or flood irrigation for a lot of stuff.
Right. Let me get one book. I think I got it in my bookcase.
All right.
On certain tools. I'll be
You
right
should
back.
be
Guys.
able. You should be able to. If you're like out in the Tuies and everything, and most people have, instead of having little ankle biter dogs, and most of them have fairly good sized, medium sized dogs, large dogs. You can usually teach those dogs to pull like water lines and stuff out across the field, so that you can do your irrigation and stuff.
Yeah.
While you're getting the pumps and everything ready, the dog can actually be harnessed and pull the I can't think of it, hoses and stuff from one end of the lane to the next.
Okay. Hey, Dave. David's Mule Train Farm. Okay. All right. Drops in. Okay. Basically, all right. Not to jump on you here, but just to clarify everybody, there are two different types. There's SHTF event, which takes about 5 years to recover from, and a T.E.O.T.W.A.W.K.I event, which takes decades to recover from. All right, and we're talking about stuff that where you can, it's 5 years. You don't want to be going around salvaging too much stuff because you may, at the end of 5 years, maybe going to jail. But in a T.E.O.T.W.A.W.K.I situation, it's going to be decades, and everybody's going to be salvaging stuff to try to get it because it's a world without the rule of law. So, but what Will was saying here, something I didn't even put on my second one. Because that's a minor one to do. I got enough hoses and stuff right now to do irrigation. I got pumps and everything, but probably farther down the line, going to like 6, 7, or 8. If I were to take it out to 10, would be going and salvaging from other places where the people are no longer alive. The 3-inch or the 4-inch aluminum pipes with sprinklers on them that you pick up and you lock together, and you can do the whole field.
Right, and do we cover tanks for watering?
Water tanks?
Right.
No, we did not mention that here. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the side check for people putting up suggestions of stuff to get. But like in some of my videos, those IBC 275-gallon tanks I have, those also work great if you put them up on a platform and use a small pump, solar powered pump to pump the water up into them. Then they can gravity feed, and you can water small gardens with that. That won't work out for a big, like a 2.5 acre garden like I got.
No, you need a tank house for that. Remember, Gil, in the old days, they used to have these tall structures,
water towers,
like whatchamacallit. They'll have the naked one, and here in California, we have those enclosed because we have heat.
Yeah.
And it's basically a narrow, big building, and the whole thing's a water tank, and they'll water 2 or 3 acres. Now, here's the book I was mentioning about.
Hang on, let me make you big.
Okay. See that, folks? Now, yeah, the Wyatt family put up something because they have a small acreage. If you can't have horses and stuff, you could use the hand cultivator with all the attachments, but you need this. It's not the hand sigh, it's the big sigh. Okay. Yeah. As a kid, I used to sigh weeds, hay, you name it. That's why I walk with a cane. Okay, it's not easy.
Yeah, they'll hurt you if you're not careful.
Right. Yeah. Let me show you something.
Yeah, we had a sigh too. We used it too for on my parents' 1.25 acre little city farm. They had. Yeah.
This is before weed eaters. Weed eaters do not do a good job. Okay, let me show you this again.
All right.
Now, what we missed in our discussions, there's the little, I can't see it, right there, the little plow thingy. I think over here.
The,
You got a seed spreader and the little hand plow.
Yeah, that looks like the like my Chapin seeder that has a little between the wheels on top. There's a little hopper to put your seeds in, and as it goes on, it has gears and wheels, and it has different size discs to let different size seeds out. Yeah,
right. And this is how a nunchuck is supposed to work. You beat the hell out of the grains.
Yeah, you loosen the grain from the stalks.
And then we have the drum thresher, and then we have, I think, over here. I can't see it. You know what I'm talking about? See the table mounted one?
Yeah, that's for like you can do. They have different ones for like taking the dried corn and removing the kernels from it. They also have it for other ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's for wheat, and it bags it too. Yeah. Now we have to be careful when we're talking about this because it's a whole different field. You have to have. Running a scythe is not easy. You have to have a whetstone, you have a strop, you have a file. You got to know how to sharpen it razor sharp. You never want to handle a full two-handed scythe dull. You'll find out the first try. And we're talking about 3 to 4 feet of sharpened steel going through the air. So you have to be careful 180 degrees around you. You don't want to be lopping off the person's head next to you.
Yeah. In Scouts, we call that the blood circle.
Yeah.
You turn to make sure no one's within striking distance. Drop family garden. You could modify a cement mixer to thrash wheat and grains and stuff. For the corn, you're going to need something a little bit more heavy duty. It's more hands-on. But you could probably modify a cement mixer, and somebody's probably done it. So you might want to check, everyone, check a video, see if someone's turned a cement mixer into a grain thrasher.
Yeah. And let's say hello to David Mule Train and Southern Blessed Homestead. Hey, folks.
Hey, Southern Blessed. Yep. And okay, is anybody else? Oh, Fishes and Loaves Life. What? A Fishes and Loaves Life.
Yeah, hey, Fishes and Loaves. Now on corn, the old days, you get I used to have it, but a corn husker thumber thing, and that's when you pop off the dried kernels by thumbing it.
Yeah,
it really hurts, and that's why Uncle Alan has RA in one hand.
Yeah, my grandmother, when they on their farm, they had basically it was like a glove. You put gloves on, it had like little spikes or something on there. Yep. And you just kind of twist it, and it would pop them loose and stuff.
It's more like a metal spur.
Yeah,
yeah.
But she said it was they had the spur ones, but then they also have another one that they get in there and they could just pop and twist. So you had all these spikes on the inside, not on the knuckles, on the inside of the palm. So when you grab it, it would pop all the corn loose.
That's the first case of tunnel. Whatchamacallit?
Carpal tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah. The good point there, Drops Family Garden. The resources we would have on hand, and we would need to have on hand without electricity.
Unless you know how to make steam engines, and then you can run it off steam like in the old days.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean. In the old days, a lot of the early, like Gil said, a big, heavy machinery ran off of steam.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, okay. All right. Someone finally said it. I was waiting for someone to come up with it. So in a T.E.O.T.W.A.K.I situation, museums that have all this old gear in it.
Able to go down there and allocate it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Go down there and rescue it. Go down there, rescue it, refurbish it, and put it to use. Sean in Alaska, Mama Z's Texas Kitchen.
Now, if you want to,
husband's in here. Oh, corn huskers lotion. Hey, that's what I got right here. Corn huskers lotion.
We aren't kidding about husking either.
Yeah.
Gil and Will, you guys probably don't ever heard of it. The Henry Ford Museum, I think it's in Michigan. They do live demonstrations on small grain farming with hand tools. This was up to the Civil War period and beyond till the 1880s. They showed live how they used to do it.
Yeah.
The big thing with it, once steam came along and once with the big draft horses came along, then you have the big wheat farms, the big corn farms. But before, either you have a lot of slaves like in the South, nobody had steam, you had small family plots under an acre, because I don't think anybody here ever chopped hay with a threshing scythe. Does anybody knows? You did, Gil, right?
I've done a
Did
wheat
that
with the sides. I've done wheat. It's kind of a wheat with one of those sides. It's a learning, has a learning curve to it.
Right there, folks.
Pull this down.
If you don't have your feet in the right position, you can be in trouble.
Yeah. And some of the sides, they have baskets and stuff on them, and especially on the one on the left side there in the middle there. You got the four things. So it cuts it and it catches it all. So you catch it and you pile it. And you just go along, you just pile as you go along. Saves a lot of time. It also,
right.
When I did it, one guy sized it, the other guy went behind him and picked it up and put it in a barrel.
Yeah. And your arms get really, because you're out there swinging, your shoulders, your elbows. I mean,
we took turns.
It's not for the us old guys to do. It's for the young guys.
Not for the lighthearted. No.
Nope. That's why you always have a bottle of beer at the end of the field.
Yeah. Now this is the hard part. Listen, if you have to, you can chop hay, wheat, and other stuff with a machete, but you got to make sure. Yeah, you got to make sure that machete is razor sharp.
And then you see the guy with the machete. By the time he reaches the beer, he's going to be dead. Heart attack.
No, Brastard, you are not robbing anything. You are salvaging abandoned property for reuse and redistribution. You got to use the proper terms. You don't want to get in trouble.
Nope.
No, you are salvaging abandoned property.
Repurposing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it jumped. There we go. Oh, the Firefox Living Museum. Yes, Mary Beth. That's another one. And then there are several other ones around. There's an Amish one as well, and several other ones that the one it's set up like Boonesboro Old Fort, and they got all the craftsmen in there. They got the leather workers, they got the farriers, the tinsmiths, the silversmiths, and tin, silver, and blacksmiths are three separate skills. Some are similar. Blacksmith is heavy duty, tin's a little bit lighter, silver is the very delicate stuff.
Make teeth. Anyway, this is what, if you could.
Yeah.
Okay, you see how they do this? The guy's got the, whatchamacallit, if you see it in the background, the guy has the cutting side with the attachments. See all those people, what they're doing? Like Will said, they're bunching the hay into bundles. The grains and everything, it's not processed yet, and they're stacking and bundling it.
Yeah.
They bundle it and put it in the barrels or on into the wagon or whatever. They still have people that go behind them and they pick up the loose pieces, the small pieces that have the grain and stuff on them.
Right.
That's the kids going there. Hey, we got Steve of Corsairs Trainers.
Hey, Steve.
We got a live stream now.
Yeah. If anyone in here is not subscribed to Corsairs Trainers, one of the best channels out there, Steve is a good teacher. He's a firearms instructor, and he's a common sense teacher, and teaching common sense and doing stuff.
Check out Kaylin Strain too while you're at it.
Yeah.
Kaylin does some great reviews of. Kaylin Strain does great reviews of MREs, and she has some other good ones too.
She reviews them from all around the world. So
Yep. Check out today's video by Steve. He did cover power and lighting for urban and suburban areas.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys on the grains, you got to remember, you have to degas it. That goes for corn and wheat. We have shocks of wheat. Like Will says, they'll either put it in a barrel, but they'll tuck it away and let it dry. Corn is the same thing. You see the huge corn cribs? You have to dry out the corn because you cannot husk it, shove it into a barrel. If you want to see a grain silo explode, you husk green corn.
Yeah. There's a lot to learn about gardening in a T.E.O.T.W.A.K.I situation. Books. Knowledge is power. Knowledge saves. Check out some books on all the different type grains, how to harvest them, how to process them. Yeah, like someone said, the Amish are going to be the ones to go. Yeah. Amish should be the ones people will look to for knowledge. Yeah. And there's also the Mennonites do have a bunch of good stuff too. But yeah, there's, it's the old school stuff. It's basically what we're going to learn. And that's why on my stuff here, let me go back here and I'll pop it up for everybody again. So my first list here, guys, and I was talking with the neighbor. They go, oh, well, what about when the gas runs out? The road tiller's not going to do you any good. And, the water system goes down. How are you going to do it? All you have is the thing. And it's like, okay. So I revised my list. Come on, let's go. There's my list. And I will show you what these things are on my list here. So, I just picked this up. I'm talking bulk seed. I'm talking 25 and 50 pound sacks of seed. That's what you want to get, not these little ones. This is the Haas tool.
Go ahead.
This Haas tool is great. They come in different styles: single wheel, double wheel like a hoop. This is the double wheel, the hoop. So you can, after this stuff starts growing up a little bit, you can go over it. You can change out the cultivators to the stirrup hose or the hula hose. They got little plows that can go on it. Draft horses. Draft horses are going in a true T.E.O.T.W.A.K.I situation. Draft horses are going to be gold. The leather work for the draft horses is going to be platinum. I mean, it's because you can't use without this harness and work and stuff. You can't use a draft horse properly.
Man, I'll be busy, man.
Yeah, anyone knows leather working will be busy. And so here's a bottom plow for draft horses. Got a double row disc for draft horses. So there are places out there where the people are actually still using this stuff. And then a little more modern twist to it. They have I'm not sure what this is called, but basically it's got springs on everything else. It basically gets a little seat and stuff for the person that for the person running the team to sit, and then behind that is where the attachments are behind that. And then they even have a modern grain drill being pulled by draft horses. So
checking on back onto the discussion list on the seeds, it has to be non-GMO, non-chemical based, because there are garden seeds that will have certain compounds on it. You don't want to get, a lot of people don't know this. Once you buy it in bulk, you have to be really careful, because I caught a person, I got 50 pounds of seeds. Yeah, but they're based in mercury. So I took it back to the seed supply. They gave me the correct non-GMO seeds. That seed is
those non-GMOs, so you can reproduce.
Right. But the seed, you have to be careful. Certain chemical coatings are designed for certain soil, like nematodes, bacteria. So you got to know on your seeds. And on GMOs, I would not recommend it. Or like, I got a bag of beans from the grocery store. No, because you don't know if you're going to get sterile mules. In other words, you get the bean, but nothing grows afterwards.
Yeah. Southern Blessed, you got that right. We're all going to have to learn how to barter. And for some of us, it's going to be a painful lesson in bartering.
Bartering is going to be terrible for some folks.
Yeah, they're going to lose everything.
A lot of
They
people
all think they got the good stuff, but a lot of people don't. They just don't
got
think
garbage.
Yeah.
You got Batman and the Boondock stuff. A lot of people think it's easy to throw seeds out and have a garden. That's a pile of. I won't say it because there's women and children, and they're also wheeled down.
Yeah, don't be collecting a bunch of gold because it'll be worthless.
Right. You got to understand, folks, gardening takes about 2 to 5 years to really grow stuff. And you got to know about the soils. Because on my patio garden, I'm teaching my nephews. These are all Yale men. Do you want to see how much damage my backyard patio looks like?
I've seen it. He showed that. Yeah.
The roses. See the roses when they hacked it with the weed eater thing.
Yeah.
I have a very... Go ahead.
It's like my property here. All right. We bought this property for the previous 20 years plus before we bought it. The only thing out in those fields was horses. And then the last several years was cows. I mean, and we go, oh, well, yeah, you got a lot of manure out there. The damage done by the cows and everything out there being over, and the horses will destroy a field like you would not believe.
They pound into dirt.
Yeah, it's compacting it, and so it's like I said, if you've been watching my videos, I had a D5 dozer out there ripping it up, plowing it up. I've been out there with my N9 tractor, the 1939 Ford tractor, going around there with discs and all the attachments I have, trying to break it up, turn stuff in. Right now, I've been disking it, watering it good, getting the weeds to grow, bringing nutrients up. Then they get up about 6-8 inches tall. I disc it in again, drag a harrow around to level it out, water it again. Right now, I'm just trying to revitalize the land where we are putting garden work in, our garden and stuff, where we got the corn going. My daughter and son-in-law have been working on that since 2016. They hauled in wood chips because the soil is very alkali, and they've been working it for 3 years now, trying to get it to go. And I've been using my tractors even to help them disc it up, break it up, rip it up using the Scarifier. And Mama Z, until I get the fence around this property fixed so the pigs can't get out. But as soon as I get it fixed, I want to put pigs out there, and we want to get some goats, and we want to get rabbits and more chickens.
Yep. Now, pigs are natural rototillers. They will plow a field like that.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a good fence and they get loose and go feral,
all my neighbors would, they would get shot before they get a couple blocks away.
Right, because nobody likes pigs. I just put down a couple of days ago a 1,200-pound hog with a 45-70, and I'm still not all right from that. The hog went down. Uncle Alan went a few feet back. I'm only 5'6", guys.
Yeah, yeah. When Old Man Criddle put the fence in around this place, he just put it across because the only thing he was concerned about were cows, and so the ground would go along a little bit. I'm talking. You can have this much difference in height. Over as it goes along. and he just ran it. So some places the fence, the bottom wire of the fence is touching the ground. Others, you got 6 inches under there. Hey, a hog's going to go right under that instantly.
Yeah. Now, I think it was the White family talking about vegetables. Yes, carrots are hard to grow. Check with Rare Seeds. I forget which company they represent. Rare Seeds.
Baker seed.
Baker Seeds, that's it. I'm sorry. My brain is, I'm tired. I was supposed to be sleeping on the couch today. Okay, now I did make a list on vegetables. First, I always tell people butternut squash. I really have to drive that into people's head. It stores well, it's full of nutrients. That's the one you want to get non-GMO and the good kind from Baker Seeds or Japanese Seed Company.
Or Baker Creek. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Baker Creek is quick interruption, and it'll go right back to you, Al.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Electric wires and the electric netting for fencing works great so long as it doesn't have a short circuit. And we get tumbleweeds blowing around here, and we get short circuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That drives you crazy.
And for fishes and loaves, yeah, you get some parasites in the pig poo. However, the way to avoid that, black walnuts kill the parasites. The pigs think it's cotton candy. They love it, and it kills all the parasites.
Yeah, because
that's why I have a black walnut tree planted out in the orchard.
Because they eat the husk and all.
Mm-hmm.
And the husk has the stuff that kills the worms. So if they eat a bunch of that, well, I wouldn't be walking around for a couple of weeks around there. Trust me, I seen hogs eat black walnuts, and you want to wear boots.
Yeah.
Knee huggers do. Okay. Now, back to the vegetables. Butternut squash, I have to always push that one. It's easy to grow. Like if you've seen Gil's video on the big hog wire cage thing, it grows fine. It stores well throughout the winter. There's other squashes and pumpkins, but I like butternut squash because it's the easiest for beginners to learn how to plant. Next thing is daikon radish, the big icicle white radish from Japan. You don't want to get other types because if you look at Liberty Gardens, his came out only like this. Uncle Alan's daikon is about this big. Mm-hmm. If you see the grocery store, Asian food market, they'll have daikon radishes that big and about that thick around.
And they're sweet and mellow too.
Right, and you can preserve that fairly easy. I have a big jar of pickled daikon going right now. You can preserve it, pickle it, can it, dry it, smoke it. Not like that, but stringing it up and smoking it. Another thing is turnips. All sorts of turnips and rutabagas. Those are easiest to grow for a lot of you beginner gardeners because it's hard to kill a rutabaga.
Yeah. Now for one of them, my garden out here, I've showed some stuff. The two plants that have grown the most, the easiest and the most prolific is the Grand Rapids lettuce and the romaine lettuce. My beets, I probably say I probably had a 75% germination rate, and my daughter has already harvested a bunch of them and pickled them.
Drop farmer, if you're having trouble with butternut squash, the alternative to those two is acorn squash and kobocha. Kobocha works better on certain soil conditions, but you have to be really careful getting the seed variety because there's too many hybrids of that. Excuse me.
Now, I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it Anthony? Someone was saying for some of the squashes, certain things you add to the soil to make the squash. If you have soil where the butternut doesn't like to grow, or the zucchini doesn't like to grow, or the patty pan don't like to grow, there are certain things you can add to the soil.
Soda ash.
That's Green Wizard. Yeah, that was Green Wizard that mentioned soil amendments for those kinds of plants.
There was someone else too that talked about different soil amendments for the different type of squash.
It could be old school prepper, because between it could be Martha or
Howie's out there. Howie will tell you.
yeah, but Howie lives in a tropical forest kind of garden, temperate.
Yeah, so yeah, it might have been Martha, old school prepper, was talking about it. Oh, Steve, so sorry to hear that. And your
Sorry
garden,
about that,
and your
Steve.
garden was doing so well too.
Was
Okay, and Rich says here, grow radishes for the tender seed pods. Get a lot more goodness and volume from one plant than letting it go to. Okay. Yeah. And Courtney says about the seed pods, first time they were really good. Yeah. Okay. Oh, where'd it go? There it is.
Hey, look, you just came in. We've got another good live stream going again.
yeah, we got
Reed just jumped in.
Yeah. All right. Mama C's Texas Kitchen tomorrow morning, 9:30 Central Time. Doing French toast. Oh, you're gonna be receiving all sorts of nasty love from Dave at Southern Ohio Prepping, Mama Z.
And Reed's here.
Yeah, Reed's here. Manifestations of Imagination.
You got to hand it to Reed. He's in the worst climate in the world growing vegetables. He's in New Mexico.
And he's doing great too. Small town preparedness. Hey, how you doing? All right, so guys, what on your list? Now you've seen my list and you heard Uncle I'll talk about some stuff. Guys, what are the top 5? That doesn't mean that's the only. You can have a list of 10 or 15, but what are your top 5 things that in a T.E.O.T.W.A.W.K.I situation where we've gone to a world without the rule of law, you're going to go out and salvage, not steal. You're going to go salvage and repurpose garden tools or whatever else. What items for the garden are you going to go get? Drops Family's beets are doing great this year. Reed says his turnips are doing very well and sweet potatoes are getting big.
You can get them about this big, Reed, if you plant them right. That was my next thing on the list was sweet potatoes, yams, and regular potatoes. There's a whole variety of them. If you get the right one, you can have a sweet potato about this big.
Okay, so Wide Family nailed it. Obviously, seeds is number 1. But Corsair's trainer, being an urbanite, has another plan. He's going to get a couple farmers.
I'm not farming in LA. You come over here.
Yeah, be farming inside.
And let me put it this way: a guy like Steve would be great for a farmer to bring on board.
Uncle Alan needs to sleep. Steve's welcome to come aboard. All we have out here is cows. And you drove past here a couple summers ago to go up to Yosemite. All we have here is dirt, cows, and corn.
Yeah. All right. Reed wants as much fertilizer as possible. Mama Z is saying lumber. Kaylin says a piece of ground would be her first. Let's see. Did I miss anybody up there? Okay. All right. And Howie's doing great already. He's got abundance of food up there in his thing. He's sharing it.
Of course, Howie's in the best location in all the world. He lives in a semi-tropical temperate forest area. All he needs is dirt.
Yeah.
Steve's learning how to grow.
Yeah.
He's doing pretty good this year.
Yeah. Okay, Drops Family Garden, very important. Yeah, everyone needs to figure out what grows best in your area because, hey, right now, who out there grows all their vegetables and food, grows all their food? Who grows all their food? No one that I know of. Even here in Idaho, where people have big, 2-3 acre lots of garden and stuff, they still buy a lot of food from the store. Okay, let's see. Go on down here. Cecilia says 5-gallon buckets, seeds and soil, as we'll need to grow inside. Feed for your animals. That's something else, and you should be stocking up on feed for your animals anyways. Yeah. Courtney Husband says, so their protein, their meat, makes all the fertilizer they need. All right. And another garden tractor was number 5 on my list to get an additional tractor. But that's why I don't need an additional tractor if I get the draft horses.
Because you got to
feed them horses.
Yeah, but it's easier to feed animals than trying to make your own refinery and squeeze out oil to make out for them. Yeah.
Around me, they rotate their crops: alfalfa, corn, and potatoes. So someone's always growing alfalfa. Okay, let's see what we got here now.
Worry about chickens and where I could get the foods.
All right. Yeah, all your garbage leftovers. My mom, when she had all her chickens, bought very little corn grain from the store. Everything, when she's going through the garden, if something started to bolt, in with the chickens. All the weeds we did, in with the chickens. Everything that was, that we weren't using, in with the chickens. They'd tear it up, eat it up, whatever, and whatever they were turning into the soil, we'd go in later on and scrape out the top 2 or 3 inches and add it to the garden.
Right. And on chickens will eat alfalfa if you process it right. Chickens also eat scratch, which is corn, wheat, and milo. You grow those, that's fairly easy. You just have to crack the corn, process the milo, and then crack the wheat.
Yeah. And one of the things I got, which I'm not going to be able to plant this year, but it's going to go in next year for animals, silage.
What kind?
5-pound bag of silage and sorghum.
Good.
Sorghum, which makes silage.
Good. You got sorghum's great because it produces a sweet stalk and a very nutritional head of grain.
Yeah.
So you can feed that to the horses and the chickens.
And the people too.
Yeah.
You can make grain. You can make a flour out of it.
Right. And the stalks, you make molasses. You have a donkey, you make the donkey go in a big circle and grind it down.
Yeah. The problem is with from what I've read from the research and stuff, morning glory is not too good for chickens. Although our chickens and our geese would eat a little bit of it, but they avoid it as much as possible.
The reason why is to make them stone like hell.
Yeah.
That's all you need to have. Drunken chicken and drunken geese wandering like, peace, man. I ate some morning glories. I haven't felt my feet or feathers for years.
Yeah. And the thing too is that let me grab the next one here as well here. The cows. When we had cows, we on my parents' property, they had I would say a 1/4 acre all in squash, zucchini, patty pan, butternut, and a couple others. They lost nearly everything the day the cows got out. The cows went through there. The first thing the cows ate was the patty pan. The second thing was the zucchini, then the butternut, and then they skipped over and they went over to the pumpkin patch, my brother's pumpkin patch, and wiped it out.
Yeah.
And they did this in 3 hours, early in the morning. And we were going out to milk, and the cows were all out, and it's like, it was devastating.
Originally, pumpkins were designed during the winter to feed cows. They would store the pumpkins with the hay, old days, and they would feed the hay to the cows, and the cows would sustain themselves by feeding the whole pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
That's old Pilgrim's time kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Howie's came up with a great idea. A rocket stove in the greenhouse fueled by junk mail. So start saving all your junk mail and compact it down and everything else. And then during the wintertime, you just burn off that junk mail. And in a T.E.O.T.W.A.K.I situation, you go to the post office after it's shut down and they've all left, and all that mail sitting around. There's your fuel for your stuff.
Yeah, don't do American money. It has too much toxic metals in it.
Sorghum is actually is good for cows because that's what we planted it for our cows. And
it's in the Milo family.
Yeah. And so our milk cows loved it. And we had Guernsey Jersey mix.
Oh, cool.
And on a 1 gallon jug of the glass jar of from the milk, about a day and a half later, there was a quart of super, super heavy cream, so heavy and thick, literally, you could drop a quarter 6 inches above it, and it would hit and stop dead and wouldn't go in more than a quarter inch into that cream and just go, and that made the best ice cream.
Yeah. Okay. I think Reed had a question about he would like to grow sugar cane.
Sugar cane.
Yeah, on the bottom in New Mexico. It's too dry there. Yes, you could grow sugar beets, but you got to know how to.
I gotta get out of here. My eyeballs will not let me do anything.
Okay.
All right. Well, take care. All right.
Have a good one, you guys.
Yeah.
All righty. Take care of yourself. Well,
make sure you plant the right ones.
No problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, Reed had a question on growing sugar cane. It's better you have bees.
Yes. Wrong one. Where'd it go? It jumped. Everything jumped on me. Where'd it go?
I know.
Oh, no, it says I like to go sugar cane. That's the one. So right now you go sugar beets. They grow a lot of sugar beets up here in Idaho. A lot of sugar beets.
Just don't live near the processing plant. God, that's horrible.
Yeah, it stinks.
Big time, Gil.
All right. Yeah, so everyone, if you could tonight, include in your prayers, Will, so he's going to the doctors for his eyes. So we need him to get going. All right, good night, Cecilia.
Night, Cecilia. And don't forget, pray for thoughts of an old soldier, Lee, out there in North Carolina. His house, his T.E.O.T.W.A.K.I, his house got hit by lightning.
Ooh.
And we know what happens when your house, not grounded, gets hit with lightning and goes through a metal frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody think about that. And also, what was it?
Anthony Palmetto Prepared. His wife
just had a baby.
Just had a baby early.
Yep.
Preemie. And so they need your prayers as well, too.
We should cover something like this, Gil, on food for the elderly and infants, because a lot of prepper channels don't do that.
Oh, very good. And that's kind of like what Steve was talking about stuff for on his video today about, most prepper stuff is aimed at rural folks and not so much at urban and suburban and downtown city slickers and high rises. So But yeah, so yeah, everybody's kind of they buy the prepackaged number 10 can stuff, and they get a year supply, and they start doing all their canning stuff. They seem to forget the elderly need sometimes have special diets. Babies have special diets. If you have pets, dogs, cats, they need to have food for them as well.
You just can't throw an MRE at them and say, here you go, tiny infant, eat an MRE, grow some hair on your chest. Doesn't work like that.
Cecilia, it's within the last week or so, last
couple of days.
Last 10 days. There's a video on Palmetto Prepared's channel where he's given an update, talks about it. So, yeah, check out Palmetto Prepared, and looking for his update there.
Night, Mary Beth.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Who's reverbing? Is it me or you?
I'm not sure. I got my ears in here, and so I'm not getting feedback. I hope it's not my new camera and microphone.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, folks, probably one of the things reason I did this, is to get you guys to think. Make a list of garden tools you need now, and what you need if else, and everything goes. And then save up a little money and start buying some of those tools that you can use in both situations. The Haas wheeled garden tools is probably one that, all around that thing, those wheeled garden tools are been around for decades. I mean, my grandmother had one. I never knew exactly what it was for when I was a little kid. So, because, she did all that work when I was never around at her house.
Also, all right, folks.
Here we go.
I know.
Yeah. And the other thing to consider, too, is that when you start putting in larger garden areas and stuff, especially grains, what's going to start infiltrating the grain field? Rodents. So you want to have, cats will help with that.
But you got to stop feeding them all those eggs. You want the cats to go out there and eat those suckers. You're not going to get Uncle Ang go out there with a little hammer chasing them down.
Yeah.
Or like Ontario Homestead, he put in that flock of chicks without killing those colony of rats. What happened to all those baby chicks?
Yeah. Let's see here. Did I miss? David's Mule Train Homestead is going bye-bye. Night. All right, Steve's going too. All right, Steve.
Night, Steve.
Yeah, it's Corsair Trainers. So once again, guys, if you're not subscribed to Corsair Trainers, he has some great information. He's a great trainer and stuff. Check him out. Also, if you need to know anything about solar systems, manifestations of imagination, Reed is an electrical engineer and computer genius. So, and have your dictionary buy, because sometimes he uses $20 words. But
he's a scientist. He's real smart. Go check him out. Yeah. But folks, also check out Reed's 5.7. You know what I'm talking about, Gil. He did a pistol video on the 5.7.
The FN 5.7 and 5.72, whatever, 28, whatever. Yeah. It was real good. In fact, I added to my wish list. Like he said, he's going that Ruger has now come out with a 5.7 at half the price. It has all the neat things on. But go ahead and check out Reed's video today on the 5.7. Great, lightweight, easy to use.
Personal defense weapon.
Yeah, defense, not offense. because it is a light caliber weapon, but it also means you're not going to have much of recoil and you keep it on target.
And also
wait a minute, there we go. Howie hit.
Yep, pitchfork.
Yeah, and there are multiple types of pitchforks too. I got 3 different types around here: narrow spacing, wide spacing, and then the wide pitchfork for scooping stalls out.
Right, and also Loaves and Fishing says spading fork.
Where'd it go? Yeah, also known as a potato fork.
Yep. Get the long handle, not the short. It'll kill your back. And guys, remember, they don't have weed eaters in T.E.O.T.W.A.W.K.I, so you need one of these, a good one with all the tools.
Yeah.
That's mowing hay, cutting weeds, and harvesting. Mm-hmm. Unless you want to die with a little hand side doing like that.
Yeah, the little hand side or sickle, and those. Yeah, that's made for trimming, for doing around trees in the orchard, for clearing the grass out around the tree.
Oh, one thing we forgot to cover. If you're in a heavy forested area, what do you need? Bill's hook.
Yeah, if you're in a heavy forested area, you're going to need a good tree saw, a bucking saw, axe, splitter, splitting wedges, all that fun Paul Bunyan lumberjack stuff.
Right, but the big thing is a tree bill hook, because you don't want the Widowmaker dropping on your head and killing you.
Yeah.
The English is really heavy on bill hooks. Also, it makes a dandy weapon if a zombie or, let's say, a rider shows up to your house and you don't have a firearm.
All right, Michelle, if you can stock up on DEET off insect repellent stuff now, that's fine. Something else to stock up on too is some of those I'm losing it here. Let me look at it here. Thermacell insect repellent pads. Those things, as long as you keep them sealed and get a bunch of those, throw them in a Mylar bag with oxygen absorber and a thing. Those will last, a long time, and those really repel the mosquitoes. And I learned that at a scout camp on Shaver Lake, up in the mountains up above Uncle Al there.
And we're talking about bugs you would not believe. Another thing is, a lot of you guys, I think Gil may know this. Uncle Alan's that old, is a smudge pot. Does anybody remember those things?
Yes.
Before DEET and all that stuff, we used to have a big trouble with mosquitoes out here. The only thing would drive them away is light up a smudge pot. You'll stink like hell, but it works.
Yeah. The smudge pots also were used not only for mosquitoes, but whenever they were, like down in Orange County and Ventura County, down there when they were getting frost come in, they go out and light all the smudge pots, get a layer of smoke in the orange and lemon orchards to keep those trees from being damaged by the frost.
Now we do it green. We have these giant fans out here. Those things scare me.
Yeah.
We had one blade broke off, went across the highway, hit a truck, knocked the truck off the highway.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Good point. Oh, yes. All right, guys, I'm learning too. That's why I like to have these, share information. A good seed press to make your own oils. And something to think about. I just thinking about this, maybe think of something else here. If you're going to be, you may want to plant a few olive trees. Make sure you get the right variety for making olive oil.
Right. We have olive trees here because we're a semi-Mediterranean climate.
Mm-hmm.
On olive trees, you have to get the right ones. There's a fruit one, and then there's the oil one. You don't want to mix those two up because, or you're going to have like, gee, we crushed all these olives and we're not getting any oil. Has to be the oil-based olive, not the fruit olive. Fruit olives, ones you get in the can. There's a big difference between the two. If you eat oil one, you'll find out. Trust me. My friend pickled those and say, here's salted brine olives. Try one. Nearly gagged.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, like Reed just said, Anthony at Penwell Prepared picked up a seed press for doing oil. He had a video on it last week.
Yep.
And so Wide family can't do olives up there in Ohio.
Reed's in a desert.
Yeah, it's a little too dry. If he had a good irrigation thing, it would be nice. They need a lot of water to grow.
You could try date or palm oil. Like they did that down my brother's place down south.
Yeah, dates are down there.
Yeah, and they'll do date oil and palm oil, but it's kind of hard eating that stuff. I mean, dates I can eat, but the oil is like,
yeah.
But it'll keep you lubricated.
Sunflower oil, several other ones. Question for our Uncle Al: where do you get seeds for oil?
Which one?
It depends on the oil.
Right. You could do rapeseed. You could do sunflower. You could do olives from the fruit or not the seed, but the outside of the olive, and then the
peanut oil.
Yeah,
coconut oil,
avocado oil.
Yeah. So you basically just kind of look up for the area you live in, what type of plant grows there that they can make oil from. Do a little Google search.
Yeah. And then like peanut oil, like Reed said, that works fine, but it has to be not the paste type. It has to be the oil type seed. Because I'm a Southern boy and I eat boiled peanuts. Safflower is also good, but safflower needs a gas processing, and grapeseed too. You have to be careful of those two unless you have a commercial size farm that does the processing. It's a gas processing. You can't do this at home. You can't grind it up and like.
All right. Now with the olive oil, it's not so much from the seeds, but from the fruit.
Right.
It's like a wine press, type thing where they put the whole olive fruit in there and they press it and get the oil out of it. Oh, yes. Cottonseed oil.
Right. But the cottonseed oil, again, like saffron and grapeseed oil, it has to be commercially done. It goes through a gasification process, which a lot of people miss. Cows love eating cotton meal seed. That's great for them, but you have to gasify it to get the oil.
Mm-hmm. And then Reed has the other benefit, besides the cottonseed oil, it also makes good cotton for clothing.
Yeah.
Dual purpose crop.
True. But before, in the ancient times, nobody had cottonseed oil because nobody had gasifiers. Yep. You didn't see the Egyptians. Let's run those giant gasifiers to extract the oil.
Yeah. And Caitlin has a good point here. Yeah.
And then there's a huge olive orchard in Arizona. Yes, because they have rivers through Arizona. A lot of people miss that. And their climate is a lot cooler than New Mexico.
Yeah.
And you get oil from there in Florida.
And then there's Oh, Michelle.
Wrong kind of gasifiers, Michelle. And no, the Egyptian wide family, King Tut did not have gasifiers either.
Or they had a different type of gasifier.
Yeah, but no. Oh yeah, you can get hemp oil. Hemp oil is easy to extract,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people smoke it for something else.
Yeah. Now the Mediterranean, Spain, Italy,
France.
the North Africa,
Right.
Middle East, great. I mean, olives just grow really great there.
Libya is really good for olives, but unfortunately they're having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So not only do you need to think about what type of equipment or items you need, and items like on the first item was seeds. So you're going to plants. I mean, Uncle Al had 5 types of plants to salvage, but yeah, it's like you want to make sure if you can now get some trees planted that you want to use apricots, olives. Olive trees are kind of messy tree. You got to clean up underneath it when it starts dropping the fruit. Cherries, avocados, whatever you can grow in your area. Apples, apple press, for the apple juice. But
we're missing the nut trees like walnut, black walnut.
Someone mentioned some cashews and some other for oils and stuff too.
Yeah, but cashews is different. That's a subtropical fruit nut.
Yeah.
And also, it's not too good up in the northern hemisphere. But you can do black walnut, regular walnut, hazelnut. What was the other one? I can't remember. It's East Coast. Chestnut.
Yeah, chestnuts.
There's another nut tree I keep forgetting. I'll remember it in about an hour.
Walnuts.
I said walnuts, didn't I?
Walnuts. Walnuts, chestnuts, pecans.
Pecans is a good one. That's more Southwest.
Cashews. What's the one? Brazil nut. I almost said the old name for it that we're not allowed to say anymore.
Yeah, but the trouble with Brazil nut, again, it's a subtropical nut.
Almond,
that's it. Almond, and then also acorn.
Mm-hmm.
And hickory nut. That was the one. Hickory nut and almond. Why hickory nut? Because the hickory tree is the only one that extracts salt out of the ground. So when you burn hickory branches in a certain way, you get a small amount of what kind of salt? It's a plant salt. They did it on Discovery.
I'm having a brain fart.
It's all right.
I can see that.
The guy telling everybody how to do it.
Yeah. Can't remember it.
But it was on Discovery Channel. They have a guy burn down a whole bunch of hickory branches and twigs, and you make a salt from the ash.
Yeah.
And you refine it by throwing it through water, and it's kind of a grayish salt.
Yeah. Got hazelnuts, filbert nuts,
and acorns. Acorns is another thing. Is it produces a strong wood. Also, it produces a wood which has plant fat. I don't think they have an oil for it, but it has fat.
Yeah. So it's like, I like that. I know the Prepper. Where is it here? Prepper Nurse one has plum, cherry, pears, apples. All right, right now we have 5 apple trees on the property. 1 black walnut, 1 apricot. I got a couple of. I got another apricot and a couple other trees in California that are going to be coming up here when my wife comes up here. Ah, very good. Reed. But right now I'm going to be planting 2 cherry trees, 2 nectarines, 2 pears, 2 peaches, and I have spaced that out in the orchard for 4 other nut trees. Whatever my wife wants to plant. She was going to plant almonds, but she's developing an intolerance to almonds and another nut as well. So, yes, making bread from acorn, but it takes a process. You have to do the process right. Otherwise, it causes you all sorts of problems.
Right. Again, folks, family history. You could also make noodles and pasta out of acorns, but if you do not do the process right of removing the tanning acid, like from breads or pancakes or whatever, the flour, it got high amounts of tanning acid. It'll be so bitter that you'll be vomiting for about a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you use you use your tallow and your lard for cooking, but for like you're going to want to be able to have oils for vegetable oil, for salad dressings, and there's certain pastas and type stuff you can need non-animal based oils for making.
Yeah, because I don't think you see too many salad dressings made out of lard.
Okay, so Cecilia says I'm getting a feedback. Is it that you hear me echoing?
Or do you hear me echoing?
Yeah, because
I got everything shut off except for StreamYard.
yeah, that's me too. I don't have anything else going, and I got an earbud in.
And I got professional headset.
Yeah.
Yes, Reed, you could use a lot of oil, use it as a sunscreen. It's called lard. Just rub it down all over your body.
The other thing too, certain types of oils you can actually use in engines as a motor oil. Granted, you can't let it go as long as regular. Yeah, you got to change it out like a lot quick. Every 500 miles or something like that.
Right. The best one is coconut oil for engines.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what they're talking about. Oh, salad dressings made out of soybeans. Okay. Soybean oil, also a gasifier.
Yeah.
You have to gasify the oil out of the bean. It's not taking a big mortar and pestle and start pounding away. That doesn't happen.
Yes. Bacon makes everything better.
Lord.
Plant-based oils for conditioning wood and leathers. Yes.
Yep. Gil, do you sound like an old-time computer?
Do I sound like?
Could be a reverb. Corn oil.
Strange.
Okay,
well, I may have to go back to my other camera.
Yeah. Corn oil, wide family, is also a gasified product. Corn has to be forced to produce oil. You cannot roast it, boil it, grind it, call nasty names to it. Has to be gasified. I tell a lot of people there's certain seeds, if you don't have a gasifier plant, because I know I live right down about 4 miles from one, and when the wind shifts, I can smell everything they're gasifying. Rapeseed, corn, God, what cottonseed. I hate cottonseed. Trust me, you live downwind from a gasifier and you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, and Rich says I sound okay there. Does anybody else do I sound like an old-time computer sound? It may just be Cecilia. It may be your internet's doing something weird. I don't know.
Right. How about growing sesame for the seed? Yes, you could do that. Make oil out of it? No, it's a gasifier again.
Yeah. Yeah. So that guys, that may be another item to salvage or build, or as Will was saying, repurpose stuff into it. Look into a gasifier, for processing oils and stuff.
The smallest one I ever seen is not light. It's about, sorry, just coughing my head off. It's not light. I've seen how it works, and it's fairly tall, fairly weighs about 2,000 pounds. You could do it. You could set it up with propane, and it'll gasify maybe 5 pounds of seeds into a rapeseed into oil. Bad thing about it, it stinks like hell. You have to have a lot of propane to run it through. And two, you ever seen a small atomic bomb explode?
No, and I hope I never do.
Okay.
Other than on film.
Right. A gasifier, if run wrong, will detonate worse than a small atomic bomb. We had it about 10 years ago where the new gasifier plant is. The old one was completely destroyed, killed 5 people there. You want to see a hole in the ground? You go over where the plant is.
Yeah. Oils, it doesn't need a gasifier. Yeah. So basically, folks, your best bet for all these oils and stuff, do a little research. Remember, we can tell you one thing, but if you look it up and you get documentation from like your state's university extension program, they can give you a lot of information. You can also probably find on people don't freak out when I say this. FEMA has a lot of information in their old file databases, PDFs you can download. Heck, you can download a gasifier for making fuel for your truck or your tractor. Heck, during World War II, there are pictures of farm tractors with these big old funky things on the front. Those were gasifiers that are providing wood fuel for the tractors to run on.
We got to say goodbye to Reed. He has to do something with his wife.
All right, Reed, take care. Tell her hi.
Okay, that gasifier uses fumes from the burnt wood to run the vehicles.
Yeah.
The Nazis did it. We did it. England, they had a couple of problems with it. Coal-fired gasifiers. The most horrible death out in the country in England was one of them, again, exploding and taking out a small village. Yeah. You have to be careful with gasifiers. Basically, what you're doing is generating fumes and oils in a volatile state under pressure. You don't want to know what happens if something goes wrong.
Yeah. All right. Just trying to look back here. I saw something else I wanted to comment. So when I sound weird, is it when I'm leaning forward or is it when I'm leaning way back? So I don't know. It may have to do how far I am away from the microphone, whether it sounds bad when I'm out here or when I'm leaning in close.
Right. On the sunflower seed oil, yes, they did that. You don't need a gasifier. You can separate it by pounding and press it through a cheesecloth, and it will rise up. If you toast it first and you pound the drain through hot water, the oil rises up.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's a lot of work for a little bit of oil.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why I like olive oil. You get a donkey, you get a big wheel, you put in the oil-based fruit into the trough. The donkey goes into a big circle, and at the end of the day, you have a bucket of olive oil.
Gas-powered Vitamix come in handy. Now, talking about all these different type of vegetable oils and stuff, a little fun fact here, folks. The original diesel engine was to run on vegetable oils.
Yep. What was funny was the old Stanley steamer ran on peanut oil too.
Yeah.
It's a type of blender. Sorry. But like I said, let's see. Toss, press through oil for cheesecloth. Blah blah blah. Gas fire, Vitamix.
Got it here. Vitamix blender images.
Yeah.
There we
and
go.
Then you have the olive trees. Yeah, we have a bunch out here.
Where's the? All right. So where's the? These are all the. Those are the small ones. Maybe we go to regular just Vitamix non-blender. See what it shows. The old metal ones.
Yep.
It's not showing. Instead of going to the ones, the old. Where's the one with the spout on it? Those were great.
Yeah.
There we go. That's one, but that still doesn't have the spout on it.
On peanut oil, you could do it chemically, but that's a lot of chemicals. I like my peanut oil kind of clean because you could do both on peanuts. You could extract it by by chemicals. You can, if you just at home grind it up into a paste, all you get is peanut butter, and it'll take a while before the paste and the oil separates. Okay, so you get about that much oil and that much peanut butter paste.
Yeah, the Vitamix back in the day when we first got ours was a metal one and actually had a spigot on the side down here. And I'm trying to find one of the ones that had a picture of the old one with the spigot on it that you could actually you put ice in there and stuff, and you can make there was original slushy maker, and you could also do it could if you did it a certain way, you could also make soup in it.
Yep.
Because of the reaction to it. So that's what a Vitamix is. It was a real neat thing.
Like I said to Drops Farm, on peanut oil, no, because they do it about two different ways. You could use chemical to extract oil, or you could use a gas fire, which is faster, or you could do it the whole old way, put it in a Vitamix, grind it up, heat it up, and the paste will go to the bottom, the oil will go to the top.
Yeah.
So you get about that much oil and that much paste.
Yeah. Now, does that paste, can you process that paste some more and turn it into peanut butter?
No, that is peanut butter. It's a paste. But the trouble is, without the oil, have you ever ate peanut paste? Okay, they dehydrate that, and that you add water, and you have voila. And most people will throw things at you. Yeah. Because without the oil, the peanut butter tastes like God.
Well, that'd be perfect for me, because for me to eat peanut butter, I have to mix it 2/3 peanut butter to 1/3 honey. Otherwise, I get a rash. Some enzyme in the honey neutralizes whatever is in the peanut butter that gives me a rash.
I would recommend getting the peanut powder and mix honey into it direct. That will solve your problem. I think it's the oil. It has a protein base in it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Courtney husband says, "Yep, it's not very good," and so did the White Farms.
Yeah, Courtney is the White Farm. Yeah, they both agree.
You see, the flavor comes from the oils, folks. So if you don't have oils in certain items, you don't get the food allergies. Also, it tastes like crud.
Yeah.
You have to be careful with certain, like rapeseed. It produces oil, but also it produces a toxic gas. A lot of people don't mention that. And if you actually, whoops, the tank broke. Oh, there goes the whole town. You don't want to be dropped dead from rapeseed poison gas. It's like, not a good thing. It also tastes good too. The oil is great.
All right. So I think everybody's in. Has anybody here did not see the pictures I had up for my choices? For going back to the main topic of 5 items to salvage for the garden. Yeah. items. So I think everybody in here saw the what I had up there. But one of the things here, let me go ahead and escape out of that and bring the other thing up here.
Okay. White Farms asked, I'm going to do my own soy sauce. It's like brewing beer. You have to make a couple of gallons to find out.
Yeah. All right, guys. So when I was talking about my big thing on my my choices after number one being seeds, salvage all the seeds I can. Let me throw this up here. Had to do with draft horses and stuff. And there is out there a lot still in use. A lot of equipment that they're still using around this country. Plows and stuff. They're still, there are areas that are still using the equipment to do work in it. So, and that looks like a wide cultivator there. It looks, I can't really see what's going on, but yeah. And they actually have contests around the country for draft horse work. So, it looks like he's got a two-bottom plow on that one. So, yeah, definitely got a two-bottom plow on that one, and he's got 4 horses on, so that's definitely a two-bottom plow there. But yeah, so there is. If you guys can, I'm not telling this is your best option. 12 horses pulling a 4-bottom plow. That's a wide path of plowing there. But in my humble opinion, and my dream too, is to I want to get at least one draft horse, if not 2. And I'd like to get one male, one female, and start breeding them. But horses, for centuries, millennia, hey, that was the tractor.
Yep. Now, Wide Farm said about getting ways of water to your garden. You dig a ditch, you get a windmill that'll pump your water out through the ditches. That's what they've been doing for thousands of years. Not the windmill, but the ditches.
Cool. Enriched.
So, why you get a headache from soy sauce? They brew it with a lot of salt. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know how much salt in soy sauce, a little bottle? It takes a 50-pound bag and you bunch of soybeans, ferment it, brew it, and you get this dark liquid. You have to brew it again. It's like beer gone to hell. And it's salty. And then you have to cut it.
Yeah. That, like we mentioned before, Amish and Mennonite. Yeah. That's where a lot, and then there are numerous working museums, living museums, what do you want to call it? But unfortunately for me out here and Al, there aren't too many out here in the West.
No.
Most of them are back east.
Yep. Around Michigan.
Other side of the Mississippi.
Yep. Michigan, Pennsylvania. What was the other state that had that big? Was it Georgia, or was it Virginia?
I think Virginia has one. West Virginia has one. I think just about all the eastern states there have some sort of living history museum. And Kaylin mentioned a really good one too, up by her. In the Living History Farms in Iowa. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, like Drop's family garden out here in the Northwest, it's like I don't know why they don't have anything out here. I know why, because everything's. No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to get political.
I know what you're talking about. You seen my dance video, have you?
Williamsburg and Jamestown. Wait, Jamestown? Jamestown, which state Jamestown?
Massachusetts.
Because I know there's a Jamestown, California, but that's a railroad museum.
Right. No, they're talking to one in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Oh, fermenting. Old school Martha, old school prepper, had has been doing some videos on fermenting stuff. So she just had one out today for beans and peppers. I remember what all she put in there. She had several
beans,
things in there.
Cucumbers, oak leaves, garlic, pepper mix.
Yeah.
One big red cayenne pepper.
Yeah. So,
yeah, fermenting it sometimes with wild yeast like kombucha and others, like beer, does cause migraines.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got to find out what you can do, what you can't do, what works, what doesn't work, and plan around that.
Yeah, that's another problem with soy sauce. It's brewed.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what kind of brewing you do, Drop Farms. Because I was showing people I ferment sometimes in honey. Because honey is antibacterial. And if you salt the fruit, let it dry, you put the fruit into the honey, and what happens? You have a slow, very slow fermentation rate, and the honey acts like an antibacteria. So you could have, like, I do Japanese stuff, but you could have fruit that's 10 years old and still yet edible from the honey. I do almonds like that with cinnamon.
Okay. Drop Farm ferments all the time. And I guess Canada does not allow MSG in foods.
That's why Canadians sneak over to eat our Panda Express all the time. Fermenting cucumbers, there's like 60 ways to ferment cucumbers. You got to adjust the brine mix, vinegar mix, or honey mix. I won't tell you on the honey, that's too hard, but on the salt or vinegar brine, there's several different ways.
All right, guys. It's time here to wrap it up here. So Tuesday, for Tactical Tuesday at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, the topic is going to be, should you organize a CAG? That's a community assistance group. So we're going to talk about group prepping a little bit, whether or not you should organize one or get involved with one a little bit. So, and then next Friday is going to be survival food. Think outside the box or inside the cereal box. All right, folks, it's been great. We had exchanged a lot of great information here. And as always, everyone,